Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be my top 15 Slimming World tips. So if you are starting Slimming World at the moment because it's a new year and a new start for you, then keep watching because hopefully they will help. So if you are new to my channel, my name's Charlotte and I am actually mum to almost 3 kiddos because I'm pregnant with my 3rd at the moment. So as far as my Slimming World story goes, I started Slimming World back in 2016 when my little girl was around, I would say, 4 or 5 months old, and I did it on a whim with my auntie and my grandma, and I actually ended up losing 3 stone altogether, and I hit my target in 2017. I was so pleased and it was an incredible journey. So if you want to watch my full Slimming World journey, I did updates every single week with my weight loss, and I've done like meal ideas or my top tips for like sweet snacks and things like that. Then I will leave my playlist link down below because it might be really useful for you. But the interesting thing for me was that not long after I hit target, I actually found myself unexpectedly pregnant with my 3rd baby, and now I am not too far away from giving birth. And while I might be pregnant and not strictly following Slimming World, that doesn't mean I haven't got loads of tips to share with you. I really wanted to do this video because January is such a health conscious, new year, new me type of month, and I thought it might be useful. So I've got 15 tips to share with you, whether or not you're just starting or you're part way through, and hopefully they will help. So tip 1, if you haven't started yet, the first thing that I would recommend you do before starting a group or starting online is start with empty cupboards if you can, because I found that I went to my first group and I was really excited, and I came back and looked through my fridge and my cupboards and I realized that actually a lot of things in there weren't sin free. They were very high in sin value, and I thought, oh, that's such a waste, and if I don't eat it then that's wasting money and wasting food, but then if I do eat it, it's not going to aid my slimming journey very well. So I did give things away to family members, but I would just really recommend that if you are starting out, then start out with a relatively bare fridge and get ready for a really exciting and inspirational food shop once you've come out your first group. Tip number 2, speaking of joining a group, I'm not saying that this is the only way to do it, but I was a group member. I went every Tuesday morning with my baby, and I have to say that it really added to my drive and determination. I loved group therapy. I love hearing other people's stories and getting inspiration from them, and I loved the meal ideas and finding out more snacks and having that sort of excitement every time I stepped on the scale, because I knew I was going to beat my best from last week and I could share it with people, and it was amazing. You do get things like Summer of the Week, and you do like raffles for a nice sin-free food basket, so it's definitely worth going, and you might find that you make a lot of new friends too, because even though I'm not going to group at the moment, I still see loads of the ladies that were in my group are still going, and I can't wait to start back again when I've had this baby. So tip 3, after you've done this first group, I would really recommend actually doing an online shop if you can, because you can go online, you can use the app if you need to check out sins. It's a lot easier doing it at home than going into store, I find, because that first time you're still trying to learn all of the lingo and, you know, what sins are and what this means and what is a hex B and what's a hex A. If you sit down and do it from home, you've got your book with you, you've got your app on your phone, you've got the app online, you can search for meals, and you can even have a Google online for Slimming World recipes, and I feel like it really sets you up to have a great first week, and you'll be so pleased when you step on the scales in your second. Tip number 4, get some really good quality non-stick pans if you can, because they will change your life. If you've already started Slimming World, you will know that fry light is definitely a thing, and it's a lot better for you than using lots of olive oil or sunflower oil or vegetable oil, and it's great, but it really does only work effectively if you've got good tools to use it with. And if you have an old pan where the non-stick coating's worn off, or you've got a pan that isn't non-stick at all, you might find that fry light's not enough and that things might burn or catch or stick to the pan. Get yourself some really good non-stick ones and you will make your life so much easier. Plus, they make really, really good omelettes. Tip number 5, speaking of tools, you might want to look into investing into a halogen oven as well. So those big ones that like rotate, there's Tefal, there's other brands. I have one and they make hands down the best Slimming World chips, and you can make fake away salt and pepper chicken with them. You can use them in all different sorts of ways, and it frees up your oven for other things if you want to use that for something else. And it's just really, really convenient, and everything that you cook is nice and crisp, and you don't have to use too much oil or fry light either. Tip number 6 is think outside the box and don't torture yourself either. So when it comes to recipes and meals that you can eat, what are your favourite foods? What are your favourite meals? Because for me, a really easy one to convert to a Slimming World friendly meal was spaghetti bolognese, because my spag bowls even now are full of veggies, hidden veggies, especially because I've got 2 kids at the moment. So like mushrooms, peppers, I put courgette in there because it mainly disintegrates, but you get some extra nutrients that way. And speed food is such a big part of Slimming World, so if you are packing that into your meals, I promise you that you will see the results. I did the same for things like curries as well, and I really just thought, well, what do I like to eat and how can I hack it so it's Slimming World friendly? And that approach made Slimming World a lot more accessible to me rather than trying to learn new recipes all the time. So for example, I would really love fajitas, and I still do now, but instead of the normal tortilla wraps, I would use lettuce wraps, and I would have sin-free rice with it. So I would still get the carbs that would keep me nice and full, but I wasn't wasting my sins on a flour wrap instead. So it's just thinking of little ways that you can hack your favorite meals, and then you definitely don't feel deprived either. Tip number 7, if you're a parent like I am, one fun fact is that old baby bottles make really good measurers for your milk quota for the day, so your hexane quota, and more importantly, gin. So definitely have a rummage through your cupboards if you've got them, because they are so useful and they help you to stay on plan as well. Tip number 8, speaking of gin, I would switch from things like wine and prosecco and cider and go for a spirit and a diet soda of sorts. So say Bacardi and Diet Coke, or gin and slimline tonic, and it meant that I could still enjoy a drink at the weekend. I only ever have a drink at the weekend, and I really enjoy myself. And sometimes I would save up my sins so I could indulge a little bit more and still go out for meals and things like that, and it was so worth it. So even though you might have a favourite wine, I'm like a Sauvignon Blanc kind of gal, like try and make that switch, because you don't feel deprived and you're still able to have a drink and have a giggle, but you're not wasting your sins either. Tip number 9 is don't panic if you've had a bad day. Just don't make it a bad week. We have all been there, and you know what? The most important thing about life ultimately is living it. So if you have a birthday party or a get together with family and friends, go out and enjoy yourself, but just get back on plan the next day. Life does get in the way sometimes, but it's really worth it when it does. So just make sure that you remember that and don't be too hard on yourself, because otherwise Slimming World will become really tough. Tip number 10, join groups online on Facebook, follow blogs, and find inspiration on Instagram. I will list a few of my favourites below, because I find inspiration is such a driving force, because when I see what other people have achieved with Slimming World, it pushed me on to achieve that for myself, and I found it really helps, and the community online is great. Plus, as I mentioned before, you can find all of my Slimming World journey down below in the description bar, so that might help you too. And I will be doing it again for the 2nd time once I've had this baby, so keep an eye out for that, because I would love some people to do it with me. Tip number 11, buy the Slimming World books and the magazines, because they are great for inspiration and great for putting your feet up and having a little read as well. I found the Fakeaways book to be really helpful for those naughty weekend treats that were still well within my sins and good for me as well. Tip number 12, stock up on the essentials, so things like chopped tomatoes, lots of lovely sin-free herbs and spices that are going to jazz up your meals, and frozen veg and frozen fruit as well, because they are cheaper and then you've always got something in. I also like to use those foil takeaway trays, so I would bulk cook and I would make extra portions. I would write on the lid what it was and stick it in the freezer for those days where temptation strikes and I can't be bothered to cook. That way I always knew there was something there that I could eat that would be good for me and wouldn't affect my weight loss. Tip number 13, I feel like every diet says this, but don't forget to drink lots of water. buy a bottle like say a Hydrate Mate for example, or one you really like to use like a sports bottle. Find your favourite sugar-free squash if you're not really into plain water. It doesn't always do it for me, I have to admit. And just keep on top of your drink, because we do often mistake thirst for hunger, and it really does aid your weight loss and keeps you feeling really good as well. Tip number 14, a lot of Slimming Worlders that I know do this, but make yourself a snack box full of sin-friendly treats. So it might be the hula hoop puffs because they're well within your sin limit. It might be, you know, lots of Muller Lights in the fridge, some Mikado sticks, things like that. Keep it all together, and then when you have had a long day and you fancy a sweet or a savoury treat, you've got everything in there, you know the sin value, and there's no need for you to reach for chocolate or cake or rubbish that is going to push you over the limit. So I found this really, really helpful, and it was like my little goodie box. Tip number 15, don't doubt the power of a third speed always. Yes, okay, you can have a sin-free meal now and again and it might not have any speed in it. That's fair enough, we've all been there, but it makes such a difference. And I swear I lost the weight so quickly because I really followed a third speed in every single instance. So if I did have spag bowl for tea, for example, I would always have a third speed of salad on the side, even though there was loads of speed in the spag bowl, because I just wanted to make sure that I was filling up on the good stuff. So if I had a breakfast of porridge, for example, I would always pile on the berries and avoid the bananas because that's not speed food. If it was a jacket potato with some ham and cottage cheese, I'd make sure there'd be loads of salad with it as well. And I even do it with snacks as well. So if my snack at night would be a Muller Light and a hi-fi bar, I would also have a big pile of fruit on the side as well, because I would always eat the fruit first, and I would find that sometimes I would eat all that fruit and then think, actually I don't want the hi-fi bar or I don't want the yogurt, and I was filling up on food the right way, and it has really stuck with me. So I hope those tips help. I really do. I am so excited to start up again. I haven't gained too much weight in this pregnancy, but I fully expect that I will have some pounds to shift once this baby boy is born, because it's kind of inevitable. So I honestly can't wait to just try and do it again and see if I can get back to my target, maybe even lose some more, and just make my 30th year the year that I really love my body. I'm really excited, and I promise you, if I can do it, then you definitely can do it. There was once upon a time where I was a size 20, sometimes pushing 22. I weighed almost 17 stone, and I can't even believe I'm saying this, but that was when I first started my weight loss journey, and it came off so slowly. After my daughter, I was 15 stone 2, and I managed to lose 3 stone and get to a size 12, and I was so proud of my body. Yes, I might be pregnant, but I know I'm gonna get it back. So good luck to all of you that have started Slimming World and you're on your weight loss mission. I know you can do it, and I can't wait to join you soon. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new, and I will see you next time. Bye.